say your name, your age, and where you're from.
Look at the camera.
My name is Olivia. I'm 8 years old, and I came from Colorado.
Okay, Olivia. Olivia, tell me, what is diabetes?
It's a disease where your pancreas thought that, or your immune system thought the cells in your pancreas were bad, but really they weren't, so your immune system killed those cells, and, well, now, and then your pancreas produces insulin, and, well, so you need extra help from, the pump shop.
So, tell me about your diabetes specifically.
Well,
What kind of diabetes do you have?
type 1.
And
What
what
does that mean?
what does that mean?
Type 1, well, there are 2 different types of diabetes. There's type 2 and type 1. Type 1 is where your pancreas does not produce any insulin, and 2 is where it produces a little bit of insulin, but you still need extra help.
Okay. Tell me, what do you have to do every day for your diabetes?
I have to do insulin with the help of mom and dad and teachers at school, and then I also have to test
What do you have to test?
my blood sugar.
And how do you do that?
Well, you take a needle and there's this little cocker, you break it back, you press this button, and it shoots a little needle into your skin, and it draws blood, and then you have this little stick, and you stick it into a meter, and then the stick sucks up the blood, and the meter reads, like, how much sugar you have in your body.
Could you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it. What happens if your insulin levels aren't right?
If your blood sugar levels aren't right,
Yeah.
what does that do? What does it feel like?
Well, when I feel low, I kind of feel tired, shaky, and kind of mostly hungry. And I don't normally feel my highs, so I don't know what I feel like.
Okay.
What do you think everyone should know about diabetes and how to manage it?
That nobody knows how people got diagnosed with diabetes, and it's not because or whoever has diabetes ate too much sugar.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay, so anything else? I think I'm all good. Let's switch now. That's okay?
Okay. I think you just have to make sure you get my head in the shot, not my whole body. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay, so say a name, what you do, and where you're from.
My name is Rebecca Bill. I'm from Denver, Colorado, and I am a salesperson and a mom.
So, Rebecca, tell me about the day that when you were 2. What happened? Walk me through like a diabetic shock.
So Olivia actually didn't go into shock. She was diagnosed at the age of 2. We had had symptoms for about a week or 2. We didn't actually put together what those symptoms meant, but what they were, she had an extreme thirst. She had been potty trained for about 6 or 9 months at the time, and at night she started going through 2 or 3 diapers at a time and was extremely thirsty. It had just turned 100 degrees that summer, so we didn't think too much of it at the time, but for about a week or 2 she had just an extreme thirst. It was actually on a Monday that she was diagnosed. I go to yoga every Monday, and I get home around 8:15, and she was always up ready for me to tuck her in, and had actually already fallen asleep that night, and it was strange. It was just very different. And the next day she woke up and she was slightly panting, and we didn't know it at the time, but her body was so acidic that it was trying to get rid of that extra sugar, those high blood sugars and the acidity any way it could, peeing it out, breathing it out. So I actually dropped her. It was really slight. It was hard to tell. So I dropped her off at daycare that morning, said she was a little off, and that I would call I called the triage nurse at my pediatrician. My pediatrician called me back within about 5 minutes and told me that I had 10 minutes to get Olivia to the office, which stressed me out a little bit. And got to the office, she actually got sick and was nauseous and threw up in the doctor's office. They tried to prick her finger and read it with the meter, but her blood sugar was so high it wasn't even readable. So then we got in an ambulance and was rushed to Children's, and she was pretty in and out of it on that ride to Children's Hospital.
Okay, so tell me this, what do you do for someone, like, tell me like that, for the lay people, if one of your friends is experiencing low blood sugar, like, what do you do for them? Like, what can everyday people do?
If someone's having a low blood sugar?
Yeah, or like a diabetic shock. I'm not super familiar with
So diabetic shock usually comes from high blood sugars, typically. Low blood sugars, you go unconscious. Actually, the more critical is when you have a low blood sugar. When you're first diagnosed, your blood sugars are extremely high, and you go into something called ketoacidosis, where you have a really high acidity level in your body. And you can die from both a very, very high blood sugar that tends to be over a long period of time. You can also die from a very low blood sugar, and that tends to be when you go unconscious. You can have brain damage, things along those lines.
Okay.
So,
how can you help them?
So, with someone with high blood sugars, the main thing is that you have, Olivia, is that you have to take really good care of the person with diabetes. It typically is not like a one-time, they have a really high blood sugar and they go. It typically is over years. It's not an overly sexy thing. It's usually built up over a number of years, and you have to get insulin, and there isn't too much a layperson can do. When you have a very low blood sugar, and this is what we coach our teachers, our gym teachers, Olivia's ski instructors, our friends, is that the real critical piece to Olivia is having a low blood sugar, and she needs something liquid with sugar absolutely fast, quickly.
And how do you tell she needs it besides reading? Is there any other signs?
She gets very irritable. She gets tired.
I get really mad. I get pokey.
She gets mad. She gets pokey. She picks on her sister more. She just isn't herself. You can tell that her personality is completely altered. She gets super hungry. And, the difficult thing to do when she's having a low blood sugar is that she needs juice, soda, something liquid, fast with sugar, and she actually can't eat until that kicks in. So for 15 minutes while that's kicking in, it's a difficult process because she's starving. But if you eat food at that time, it actually slows down the process of the sugar. So those are tough times.
And how can she give herself her own finger pricks, or at what age should they start doing that?
Yeah, Olivia started doing that even at the age of 4.
Wow.
She's pretty smart little cookie. But bear in mind she does this 10 to 12 times a day. So she sticks a needle in her arm or her finger 10 to 12 times a day.
Finger.
What do you think the world, or what do you think most people need to know about diabetes? Or what do you think is the most misunderstood?
The difference.
Well, there's a couple things. I think on the diagnosis part, which you guys seem interested in, is there are warning signs. Stand up a little bit. Extreme thirst. Being really tired. Kind of being off, being really hungry and losing weight, but still eating quite a bit. So, the thing is that if people were more aware of the disease, there aren't that many people with type 1. If people were more aware of those signs, they don't have to go into shock. They don't have to go into ketoacidosis. You can get them, help and intervene early enough. I think the other difficult thing is that people really confuse type 1 and type 2. So type 2 typically is an adult onset, and it's because of an unhealthy lifestyle as far as food and exercise, 99% of the time, with a genetic predisposition as well, and your body doesn't absorb insulin as well. Type 1 is a completely different disease. Olivia doesn't have the cells any longer that produce insulin. So it wasn't something she did to her body, it wasn't something from eating or lack of exercise, or this is a autoimmune disease that we don't know why she got it.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Okay, so is there anything else I should know about you guys' story?
I think, the main thing about the day that she was diagnosed is that your life changes overnight. Literally from that ambulance ride to Children's Hospital, within a day, we were sent home with a bunch of needles and insulin. If I give Olivia too much insulin, she dies. So within 24 hours of diagnosis, this isn't something where the doctor tells you exactly what to do and how to do it. This is something that you have to really embrace as a family and as a mom and as a dad to take care of your 2-year-old. And for the first month, we had to hold her down to give her 6 shots a day. And we had to determine what that was. There wasn't a pill to swallow or a liquid to swallow. This was something where within a day our complete lives changed overnight within, after that ambulance ride.
Wow. I never even thought of that aspect of it. Does anyone else in the family have diabetes?
No one has any diabetes. We had nothing on any side. We didn't even know about it. I remember when we walked into Children's Hospital, they said, we're going to take you straight to critical care. And my husband looked at me and he said, that doesn't sound good. And I said, it doesn't, but we really had no idea what we were in for. 24 hours later, the difference, and then a week later and a month later, it's pretty astounding how on July 12, 2004, our lives changed. Every minute of every day changed on that day.
Wow. And Olivia skis?
Olivia is a pretty rockin' double black diamond skier.
Anything skier. I can ski anything.
And how does that affect her?
Nothing.
Skiing is difficult. It is, because exercise typically brings your blood sugar down, but excitement and stress can bring it up. So if she's looking at a double black with a bunch of moguls jumping off a cliff that she's never done before, you have both that excitement and that adrenaline, which drives you up, and then you also have the exercise from the day, which drives you down. So we actually, for her to swim, play tennis, ski, all of these things, she has to test even more often and be more responsible and independent at 8 years old.
More careful about what I feel like.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so I think we're actually done. Do you guys want to email the biopsy?
I bet we can figure it out.
Okay, good. You're amazing. I've learned a whole lot. You guys are very informative.
So I would just need you to text me your email.
Okay, I'm texting you right now.
Oh, no, I have it. You emailed me today. I've got it.
Oh, yeah, you do have it.
I think, Olivia, you can turn it off.